Let's do a segment here that is, you talk about kismet, you talk about perfect timing, because this has been trending. How often do men think about ancient Rome? Quite frequently, it seems. This is from the Washington Post. I don't know if you guys knew of this TikTok trend here, but this is WAPO. It's been almost 2,000 years since the Roman Empire reached the historic peak of its power, but many men still contemplate it quite a lot. A new social media trend prompting women to ask the men in their lives how often they think about ancient Rome reveals that it crosses the minds of many men on a weekly basis, even daily or more, to the surprise and confusion of their loved ones. 3 times a day, answered one woman's fiance in a TikTok video. There's so much to think about, he explained, eliciting, a stunned look into the camera from his soon-to-be wife. They built an entire world-dominating society, another man exclaimed when asked by a bewildered-looking woman to justify why he contemplates, ancient Rome. But why does there seem to be a gender divide, and who is daydreaming about ancient Rome today? According to historians, one explanation could be that Western societies have historically overemphasized the aspects of Roman history that are associated with masculinity in the popular imagination. The first thing that comes to mind is an image of the Roman legion, the imperial eagle, and that sort of military aspect, along with gladiators, which has a long association with masculinity and power, says Hannah Cornwell, a historian of the ancient world at Britain's Birmingham University. Since at least the 19th century, she said, historians have tended to view ancient Rome through the prism of politics and warfare, in part as a result of their reliance on elite masculine sources. The slew of videos on TikTok appear to have been prompted by Artur Hulu, a 32-year-old Roman reenactor and history influencer from Sweden who has earned a large following. Known as Gaius Flavius or Gaius Flavius online, I don't know which one, where he posts videos of himself as a
Gaius.
Gaius. All right, well, Gaius Flavius makes the joke work at least. Where he posts videos of himself as a Roman legionnaire and performs comedy sketches as a gladiator. Hulu wrote on Instagram, "Ladies, many of you do not realize how often men think about the Roman Empire. You will be surprised by their answer." So here is a picture of the influencer who apparently got this trend started. But let's take a look on TikTok, just a little sampling of what we're talking about here.
Do you think about the Roman Empire?
How often do I think about it?
Yeah.
I don't know. I guess technically like every day.
Do you think about the Roman Empire ever?
Yeah, I guess sometimes.
How often?
I don't know. Once a week. How do you not think about the Roman Empire? Basically.
How many times, like a week, or just how many times in general, do you think about the Roman Empire?
What about the Roman Empire?
Just anything about it.
Probably not a lot. Why?
Not a lot. When was the last time you thought about it?
Maybe a week or two ago. The Roman Empire was a very big part of history.
So how often do you think about it?
Not a lot.
How often? Once every month?
Maybe 3 or 4 times a month.
You think about the Roman Empire once a week.
It has a lot of big stories and lessons within the Roman Empire of what to do and what not to do. So yeah.
So you think about the Roman Empire once a week?
Sometimes, yeah.
That's like the Dave Chappelle, Rick James interview where he's like, yeah, I took my, Eddie Murphy, he said I took my I kept my shoes on and put my feet up on his couch. Now, why would I do that? I mean, I did do that. It's like that. He just changes his story. Well, yeah, I did it. I never think about it. Oh, yeah, I think about it a little bit, 3 or 4 times a month. Once a week. Yeah, that's my favorite one because I watch a couple more.
Not necessary.
Babe, how often do you think about the Roman Empire?
That's dense. I don't know, every couple days.
Are you kidding me?
Not normally once a week. Why?
Why?
I don't know, a lot of history.
How often do you think about the Roman Empire?
A lot.
Really?
Yeah.
Like, how often?
At least once a day.
Right, so that's enough there. I will toss to my friend Russell to see what he has to say about this.
You know, the first rule of the Roman Empire is you don't talk about the Roman Empire.
Right.
You know, these guys all fucked up. You know, men have had a secret society of Roman Empire, worship for 2,000 years, and they gave up the game. TikTok, you know.
Yep.
So
that'll do it.
Let's put things in order. This is what really bothers me about this. These are the same exact people who are going to say, don't stereotype based on gender, right?
Right.
And yet they're unleashing this really unfair stereotype against men. And, I don't think that we're defined by our gender in that way. I think it's ridiculous to say that men have a weird fixation on the Roman Empire, or that men might, dream their entire lives of seeing Roman ruins and then go see all of them and spend 8 or 9 hours at the Forum. Most men will not do that. And hey, what about women? What about women who might do that? Why would you say that's an exclusively male thing? I mean, just because somebody has a thing specifically about the Emperor Caracalla, who ruled from 198 to 217 AD after murdering his brother. Hey, the guy created the Antonine Constitution that extended citizenship to all Romans. What? That's not a big deal? That's not a big deal to you? If that's not a big deal to you, I think that's your problem. That sounds like a you problem. On top of that, hey, anybody ever seen The Godfather? This guy whacked his brother. He was originally co-emperor after their father died, whacks him out, takes over, introduces a new currency. It's a very complex history. But to say that that's a male kind of thing, you're gendering history. You can't gender history that way. That's not appropriate. And we won't stand for that on this show. We're not going to put up with that kind of thing here. We are non-binary Caracalla fans here.
I'm glad you had a chance to speak on that so we can clear that up, because I can say, in all honesty, I don't think about the Roman Empire very much. Like, hardly ever. Honestly, this is not the bit anymore. I really don't. Maybe, until you said you were going there, I don't know. If I had to guess, maybe once a month. But only in the context of imperial decline, because that's what we're going through now. Like, I don't think about it as much as these other guys. I don't know why that is. I have a theory, which is that the Roman Empire is probably a stand-in for other men. How often do you think about other men? Well, not that often. Once a week. I think the Roman Empire was a bit gay. And I think that people who think about it a lot are also a bit gay. Not, as Jerry Seinfeld would say, that there's anything wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with that. But I see a parallel there.
And that is how we have kept this secret for 2,000 years. So if any of you get asked by your girlfriend, if you think about the Roman Empire, go back and watch how artfully Keaton handled that.
Right.
And that's what you do, guys. We need to shut this thing down. We're giving away the family secrets. We have been conspiring for 2,000 years to bring back the Roman eagle. God damn it. And now this whole thing's getting blown up.
See, Russell knew TikTok was trouble. You were on that from a while ago. You said it's only a matter of time before TikTok causes big problems. And here we are.
Our obsession with the Roman Empire. Okay, so my not bit honest take. My personal interest with the Roman Empire started with a movie I understand they're about to remaster, Caligula. I saw Caligula for the first time tripping on acid when I was like 17. And that fucked me up for life. Okay, so Caligula was a movie that sounds like a punchline, but it's for real. Okay, so it's this really, what, in my opinion, this really good screenplay by Gore Vidal wrote it, actually.
Right. Yes.
And it's very, it's very masterpiece theater, very classy, very I, Claudius, all-star cast. You got John Gielgud, you have Peter O'Toole as Tiberius, you have Malcolm McDowell in his prime, perfectly cast as Caligula. Helen Moran is in this movie. Just absolute all-star cast. But it was produced by Bob Guccione, the owner of Hustler magazine. So what Bob Guccione apparently decided to do after he saw the cut, he was like, hey, we need a little more fucking here. We need some fucking. So he went and got porn actors,
right,
and shot all of these XXX scenes and inserted them into the completed film. Oh, Penthouse.
People in the chat are saying that.
Yes, you're right. You're right. How can I forget? That's Flint is a Hustler.
Right.
Now, a lot of what's going on in this movie, that's what's weird about it, because Caligula really did make the senators give their wives up to an imperial brothel to balance the treasury. Like, that really happened. So, of course, Guccione takes that as an opportunity to show what went on in that brothel. Right? It's very strange because in a way you're like, well, this was the perfect fusion of talents to create perhaps the most accurate movie about what Caligula's reign was like that you could possibly make. Only Bob Guccione, working with Gore Vidal and Peter O'Toole, could have made such an accurate movie about the reign of Caligula, because no legitimate person would ever have done this.
Right.
That was actually, when I saw that when I was a kid, I was pretty ignorant of history, classical history. Culture. That was really my first exposure to the Roman Empire. Now, I will tell you, walking around these ruins has definitely brought home to me, why was I so interested in seeing these ruins? And I'm still seeing more ruins. And these were Greek ruins I was looking at today, not Roman ruins. I wasn't less interested. I was actually more interested because I had it more to myself. So it's not about Rome, it's about apocalypse. That's what I realized actually doing this. If you're fascinated by end of the world, apocalyptic, post-apocalyptic worlds, you're probably going to be fascinated by walking through the results of another culture's apocalypse.
Right? Sure.
Because that is, you're seeing what someone's apocalypse looks like.
Right.
Delos was raided by pirates in 69 AD. That's part of why it was abandoned. Dude, you're walking around, there's the broken amphora. There's the broken containers still laying on the ground. You can still see the burn marks from what the pirates did. It's fucking incredible, man. It's like to see what it looks like when a world ends. Because you're talking about and I think Rome is particularly interesting in that way, because they had such a complex, all-encompassing society with an aesthetic, with a philosophy, with an economic system, with an architecture. That was the world. And especially as an American, I think we're fascinated by this because that's us, right? We have that kind of cultural hegemony over the rest of the world. So to go see what it looks like when that world ends is fascinating. I don't know if it's so much, for me personally, I don't know if it's so much Rome as it is apocalypse and what it looks like when something that solid falls apart.
Please clap.